The most radical anti-abortion bill in the country is still making its way through the Alabama state legislature, due to come up for a final vote next week. And last night we showed you the chaos that erupted as the state Senate debated the bill.
All those in favor say aye.
No,
Any opposed? Motion passes. Committee amendment is tabled. Senator Chambliss.
There was no motion. There was no motion.
There was a motion. He made a motion.
He didn't even make a motion, Mr. President.
Hold on, excuse me.
He did not make a motion.
He made a motion to table.
He did not make a motion. There was no motion from the other side.
He made a motion to table. Senator.
Heck no. He didn't even make a motion.
All right, so what you were seeing there, Democrats were objecting to an effort by the all-male Senate Republicans to ram through an amendment removing exceptions for women who are victims of rape or incest from the already extreme abortion ban. The bill would make it a crime for doctors to perform abortions, punishable by up to 99 years in prison. It's likely to pass next week and be signed into law by Alabama's Republican governor. Meanwhile, the same Republican lawmakers pushing that bill just proposed another one that would make it a felony to falsely accuse someone of rape or sexual assault. The measure specifically targets false allegations that are knowing and malicious, but it's already a crime to file a false police report. And if the accused were proven innocent, the person making the allegations under this bill could be responsible for paying the accused's legal fees. False rape allegations are extremely rare. It is a much more prevalent problem that the vast majority of rapes and assaults never get reported at all. Only about 23% of rapes are actually reported to the police, and a tiny number, just 0.5%, ever lead to felony convictions. There are a lot of reasons why victims don't come forward. Last year, the whole nation watched Christine Blasey Ford explain why she never reported being sexually assaulted as a teenager.
Brett's assault on me drastically altered my life. For a very long time, I was too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone these details. I did not want to tell my parents that I, at age 15, was in a house without any parents present, drinking beer with boys. I convinced myself that because Brett did not rape me, I should just move on and just pretend that it didn't happen.
When she finally did come forward, the man she accused was confirmed to the Supreme Court anyway. And now he could be the deciding vote to uphold the constitutionality of bills like this one out of Alabama and to overturn women's right to make their own decisions about what happens to their bodies. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.